Hello. We're now going to actually start to edit together our project in Adobe Premiere. We've resized our images and they're ready to be imported. But before I do, I'm going to make a bin in the project pane in Adobe Premiere. And I do this by hitting this new bin icon here. I was really just making a new folder. I'm going to make a new folder to keep all of the images in, just to keep them organised. So I'm going to call this one Images. And while I'm at it, I'm going to make another new folder. Oops. I'll make another new folder and I'll call this one Sounds. And that will be where I put my audio. So I'm down in my projects folder on my hard drive inside the folder called AV Journey Project, and inside the images are all my resized images. I'm going to select them all by pressing Shift on the keyboard and hitting the first and last one and just drag all of them up into my images folder, and there they go. If we open that up, we see all of our images and they're absolutely fine. Let's just interestingly have a look at the metadata, and we can see that our image size is now a much more manageable 900 by 600. I think it was almost 4,000 pixels across the way before we resized them. Let's get the sounds into the project. Click the top one, shift click the bottom one, selects them all and drag them into the sound project folder, into the sound folder, and there they are. Fantastic. Okay, here's our first image. The duration of that image is about 5 seconds. I'm going to drag that down into the timeline and I'm going to select my next image. I think I'll use this one, drag that down into the timeline. So now if we just play the project through, hit the play button over here, in the canvas window we can see after 5 seconds it clicks to the next picture. Okay. The transition there is a bit abrupt. It really just cuts from one picture to the other, and I'm thinking that we might do something a bit more fancy with that so it's less abrupt. If we come over to the Effects tab down here, and if we go to Video Transitions, let's open up the dissolve stack there and let's have a cross dissolve between these two. I've just dropped that cross dissolve in between the two pictures. Now if we play that through, let's just go for it. You'll find that there's a rather nice cross dissolve. Jolly good. Back up to our project pane. Let's have a look at what sounds we have here. If we take our nature sound, we can have a little preview of that. Marvellous. And if we double click that, we can see the waveform appear in our source panel. Then we can use the controls down here to play that through. Now let's insert that into the timeline. We could drag the audio down. Now we obviously can't drag from here, but Premiere provides us with a little draggable icon just here, so we can drag that down into our timeline. Or we could use the insert buttons here, and they place it in the timeline for us as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and play that. Quite happy with that. I can use these navigation controls here in the source panel to send my playback head to different points in the edit. So if I hit this go to the in point, that'll go back to the in point of the clip that it's hovering over. Or if I hit this button here, it will go to the previous edit point. And of course that goes to the next edit point. So we can click our way through the edit. Let's go back up to my images and select another one, like that one. Let's just grab that image, bring it down, and if we add another transition to that, and it goes. If I wanted my transition to be a bit longer or a bit shorter, I can double click it either here in the timeline or double click it before I drag it in over here in the effects browser. And this portion here tells us how long that transition will last. So we can pull that out so that it'll last a lot longer, and you can see that its size changes down here in the timeline correspondingly. Let's see how that looks. Really nice. Let's just quickly add another couple. Get them down there. Add a wee transition. And it might be that I want to fade that out there, so we could dip it to black and hover that over the end of the clip, and it should now dip to black. Excellent. If you're having a bit of trouble seeing what you're doing in the timeline, we can zoom in on that just by hitting the zoom control down at the bottom of the screen. It's not changing the duration of the clips, it's only changing how we look at the clips. Okay, so I've made a little mini movie here. I'm happy with that. I've got too much audio though, so let's cut this audio off and get rid of all this bit here that I don't want. Let's move up to the tools at the top left of the window, select the razor tool, bring it down to where I want to cut it and snip that. If I go back up to the tool set and click on my selection tool, back down to the timeline, select the part of the audio that I don't want anymore, and just press delete or backspace on your keyboard, and that should disappear. I can scrub through it to see how it's looking. I'm not too sure about the audio there. It's just going to cut off. So let's get an audio transition and fade that out. Come across to our project pane over here. And we're going to go to audio transitions. And we'll go to the fade. And we'll drop it in there. If you want to lengthen that fade, double click it. And the same with the video transitions, we can just lengthen that out. Let's see how that sounds. That might be that we want to lengthen it a wee bit more. There we are. Maybe even a wee bit more. Fantastic. Let's play that now. Brilliant. I'm happy with that. I'm not so happy with the way it comes in. It's rather abrupt. So let's just fade that in. We'll start with the audio. We'll use the fade tool. Fades in a wee bit, and we'll use the video transitions and dip that in from black. If you now play that, it fades in. In fact, it's quite a fast fade, so we can double click that again, lengthen the fade. Let's go back to the start, play it. Fantastic. Let's just fine tune the audio fade as well.